Have you ever received a phone call from someone claiming to be a medical professional with urgent news about your health? Someone who knew just enough about your medical history to sound legitimate, but demanded immediate action that seemed unusual? Robert Martinez, a 79-year-old retired mechanic from Phoenix, Arizona, thought he was getting life-saving medical advice when a doctor called him about critical test results. 3 weeks later, he had lost $15,000 and nearly died from taking dangerous fake medications. Robert's story reveals how medical scammers exploit our deepest fears about health and mortality. They use stolen personal information, create fake emergencies, and sell dangerous counterfeit drugs to vulnerable seniors. By the end of this video, you'll understand how these medical fraudsters operate and learn the warning signs that could save your life and your savings. Stay until the end because Robert's experience shows exactly how sophisticated these scams have become, and how one mistake nearly cost him everything. The call that started it all. It was a Tuesday afternoon in October when Robert's phone rang. He had just returned from his weekly grocery shopping and was putting away his medications when the caller ID showed a number from what appeared to be a medical office. "Mr. Martinez? This is Dr. Patricia Coleman from Advanced Medical Testing Services. I'm calling about your recent blood work that was forwarded to our laboratory for specialized analysis." Robert was confused. He hadn't had any recent blood work done, but Dr. Coleman continued with such authority and medical terminology that he began to doubt his own memory. Maybe his regular doctor had ordered tests he'd forgotten about. "Mr. Martinez, I'm afraid I have some concerning news. Your blood work shows dangerously elevated levels of inflammation markers, specifically your C-reactive protein and ESR levels. These readings indicate you may be developing a serious cardiovascular condition that requires immediate intervention." The words hit Robert like a punch to the stomach. He had been managing high blood pressure for years and was always worried about his heart health. Dr. Coleman seemed to know about his medical history and spoke with the confidence of a real physician. "Without immediate treatment, Mr. Martinez, you could be facing a major cardiac event within the next few weeks. The good news is, we've caught this early, and there's a new treatment protocol that can reverse these dangerous inflammation levels." Building the medical emergency doctor, Coleman continued her explanation using impressive medical terminology that Robert didn't fully understand, but that sounded legitimate and urgent. She mentioned specific blood markers, cardiovascular risks, and treatment protocols with the fluency of someone who had clearly studied medical language. "Your current medications aren't addressing the underlying inflammatory process that's attacking your cardiovascular system. We've developed a specialized anti-inflammatory compound that's shown remarkable results in preventing heart attacks in patients with your specific blood profile." She explained that this treatment wasn't available through regular pharmacies because it was so new and specialized. The medication had to be obtained directly from their research facility, and because of Robert's age and risk factors, he qualified for their emergency intervention program. "Mr. Martinez, I've been practicing cardiology for 20 years, and I've seen too many patients wait until it's too late. Your inflammation markers are in the danger zone. Without this treatment, you're looking at a 70% chance of a major cardiac event within the month." Robert's hands were shaking as he listened. He had always feared having a heart attack, and Dr. Coleman was telling him it was imminent unless he took immediate action. The fear of dying overwhelmed any skeptical thoughts he might have had. The treatment protocol, Dr. Coleman explained that the specialized anti-inflammatory treatment would cost $15,000, but it could save his life. She emphasized that this wasn't covered by insurance because it was still in clinical trials, but the results were so promising that they were making it available to high-risk patients like Robert. "I understand this is a significant investment, Mr. Martinez, but what price do you put on your life? This treatment has prevented heart attacks in 95% of patients with your exact blood profile. I can arrange for the medication to be shipped directly to you within 48 hours. She created urgency. by explaining that his inflammation levels were continuing to rise and that every day of delay increased his risk. Robert felt trapped between the fear of dying and the shock of the cost, but Dr. Coleman made the choice seem obvious. "Mr. Martinez, I have to be direct with you. In my professional opinion, without this treatment, you may not see Christmas. But with it, you could have many healthy years ahead of you. The choice is yours, but I strongly recommend you don't wait." Robert agreed to the treatment. Dr. Coleman arranged for him to wire the money to their medical facility and promised the life-saving medication would arrive within 2 days. The fake medication arrives. True to her promise, a package arrived at Robert's door 2 days later. It contained what appeared to be professional medical packaging with bottles of pills labeled with official-looking medical terminology. The instructions were detailed and seemed medically legitimate. Robert began taking the pills as directed, 3 times daily with meals. Almost immediately, he started feeling strange. He experienced dizziness, nausea, and unusual fatigue. When he called Dr. Coleman to report these symptoms, she assured him these were normal adjustment reactions as his body responded to the anti-inflammatory treatment. "These symptoms mean the medication is working, Mr. Martinez. Your body is fighting the inflammation, and you may feel worse before you feel better. This is exactly what we expect to see in the first week of treatment." Robert trusted her medical expertise and continued taking the pills despite feeling increasingly unwell. His appetite disappeared, he had trouble sleeping, and he felt weak and confused. Dr. Coleman continued to reassure him during follow-up calls, adjusting his dosage and explaining that his body was undergoing therapeutic inflammation reduction. The medical crisis. After 10 days of taking the fake medication, Robert collapsed in his kitchen. His neighbor found him unconscious and called an ambulance. At the hospital, doctors discovered that Robert had been taking dangerous counterfeit drugs that contained harmful substances never meant for human consumption. The emergency room physician explained that the pills contained industrial chemicals, expired pharmaceutical ingredients, and dangerous fillers that had poisoned Robert's system. His liver and kidney functions were compromised, and he was suffering from severe dehydration and chemical toxicity. "Mr. Martinez, these aren't real medications. Someone has given you industrial compounds that are extremely dangerous. Who prescribed these to you?" As Robert recovered in the hospital, the horrible reality became clear. Dr. Patricia Coleman didn't exist. Advanced Medical Testing Services was a fake company. The blood work results were fabricated. Robert had been completely scammed, and the fake medications had nearly killed him. The investigation and recovery hospital staff immediately reported the case to police and the FDA. The investigation revealed that Robert had been targeted by a sophisticated medical scam operation that specifically targeted elderly individuals with known health conditions. The scammers had obtained Robert's personal and medical information, possibly through data breaches, or by purchasing information from illegal sources. They used this information to create believable medical scenarios that exploited his existing health concerns. Police discovered that the same scam had been used against dozens of seniors across multiple states. The fake medications were being manufactured in illegal laboratories using dangerous chemicals and sold to vulnerable elderly victims who trusted medical authority figures. Robert spent a week in the hospital recovering from the chemical poisoning. His medical bills exceeded $20,000, and he had lost his $15,000 to the scammers. At 79, he faced the devastating reality that his trust in medical professionals had been exploited to nearly kill him. The warning signs. Robert missed looking back. Robert identified several red flags he wished he had recognized. Unsolicited medicals. Calls about test results he hadn't received. Legitimate doctors don't call patients about test results without scheduling appointments or sending official communications through established medical channels. Immediate payment demands for emergency treatments. Real medical treatments are billed through insurance or medical billing departments. Doctors don't demand wire transfers for medications. Treatments only available outside normal medical channels. Legitimate medications go through proper FDA approval, processes, and are available through licensed pharmacies, not direct sales from research facilities. Pressure to avoid consulting other medical professionals. Real doctors encourage patients to seek second opinions and involve their regular healthcare providers in treatment decisions. The aftermath and advocacy Robert's experience led to increased awareness about medical scams in his community. He began working with local senior centers to educate others about these sophisticated medical frauds. His story helped identify other victims and contributed to the eventual arrest of several members of the scam network. Most importantly, Robert learned to verify all medical information through his established healthcare providers. He realized that fear of illness had made him vulnerable to manipulation, and that checking with his regular doctor could have prevented the entire ordeal. Final thoughts: Robert's story shows us that medical scams prey on our most basic fear, the fear of death and illness. These criminals understand that when someone claims to have life-saving information, we want to believe them, especially when they sound medical and authoritative. The key lesson from Robert's experience is this: legitimate medical professionals work within established healthcare systems. They don't make unsolicited calls about emergency treatments. They don't demand immediate wire transfers, and they don't sell medications outside of proper medical channels. If you receive unexpected medical calls, hang up and contact your regular healthcare provider directly. If someone claims to have urgent medical information about you, verify it through official medical channels before taking any action. Remember, real medical emergencies are handled through established emergency medical services and hospitals, not through unsolicited phone calls from unknown medical facilities. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.